Imagine a house that costs $2 billion to build. It towers 27 stories above the crowded, chaotic streets of South Mumbai. It has 3 helipads, a garage that holds 168 luxury cars, a private movie theater, hanging gardens, and a dedicated room that produces actual snow to escape the Indian summer heat. To keep this single-family home running, it requires a full-time staff of 600 people. This is not a palace from a fantasy movie. This is Antilia, the most expensive private residence on Earth. And the man who lives inside it is Mukesh Ambani. He earns more in 1 minute than an average person earns in a lifetime. He is the undisputed financial emperor of India, a man who controls the oil, the retail, and the internet data of over 1 billion people. But the story of how he built this unimaginable empire is not just about money. It is a brutal saga of family betrayal, ruthless business tactics, and a vision so massive that it changed the destiny of an entire nation. Today, we are taking you inside the gilded walls of the Ambani Empire. Warning, the level of wealth you are about to witness might make you question reality. To understand the absolute power of Mukesh Ambani today, you have to look at the humble and almost unbelievable origins of his family. He was not born into extreme wealth. In fact, he was born in the country of Yemen in 1957. His father, Dhirubhai Ambani, was working as a simple gas station attendant. Dhirubhai was a man of fierce ambition but limited means. The family eventually returned to India, squeezing into a modest 2-bedroom apartment in a crowded middle-class neighborhood in Mumbai. Young Mukesh did not have a fleet of luxury cars. He traveled on public buses and received barely any pocket money. But his father was quietly building something that would change their lives forever. Dhirubhai started a spice trading business, which he soon pivoted into textiles, creating the brand Vimal. He founded Reliance Industries. Dhirubhai believed in street smarts over classroom knowledge. When Mukesh was pursuing his MBA at Stanford University, his father called him back to India. He told his son that real business is learned in the factories, not in American universities. Mukesh dropped out, returned home, and began working side by side with his father to build massive petrochemical plants. He proved he wasn't just a rich kid, he was a brilliant, detail-oriented executioner. But the true test of Mukesh Ambani came with a tragedy that nearly destroyed the empire. In 2002, Dhirubhai Ambani died after suffering a massive stroke. He left behind a massive conglomerate, but he made one fatal mistake. He did not leave a will. This sparked one of the most vicious and public family feuds in corporate history. Mukesh and his younger brother, Anil Ambani, went to war. Both brothers believed they were the rightful heirs to the Reliance throne. The tension in the boardroom was toxic. The battle dragged on for years, playing out in the media and the stock markets, threatening to tear the multi-billion-dollar company apart. Finally, their mother, Kokilaben, had to step in and forcefully divide the empire. Mukesh got the old-school, cash-rich businesses, oil, gas, and petrochemicals. Anil got the flashy, modern businesses, telecommunications, entertainment, and financial services. At the time of the split, people thought Anil got the better deal. They thought Mukesh was stuck with the dinosaurs of industry. They could not have been more wrong. What happened over the next 15 years is a masterclass in business strategy and ruthlessness. Mukesh took his oil money and quietly plotted his revenge. While his brother Anil made flashy investments and accumulated massive debts, Mukesh focused on execution. The turning point came when the non-compete clause between the brothers expired. Mukesh immediately set his eyes on the one thing his brother controlled: telecommunications. But Mukesh didn't just want to enter the market, he wanted to annihilate it. In 2016, he launched Reliance Jio. He spent over $30 billion building a nationwide 4G network from scratch. And then he did the unthinkable. He offered the internet to the Indian public for free. Free voice calls, free data for months. The existing telecom companies, including his brother's company, were slaughtered. They couldn't compete with free. Within a few years, Jio captured hundreds of millions of subscribers, effectively monopolizing the digital nervous system of India. Mukesh Ambani brought the internet to the masses, but in doing so, he destroyed his rivals. And what about his brother Anil? The man who was once a billionaire alongside Mukesh watched his empire crumble. Anil's telecom company went bankrupt. He faced massive lawsuits. In a moment of pure irony and humiliation, Anil was threatened with jail time if he couldn't pay an $80 million debt to the Swedish company Ericsson. At the very last second, just before the prison doors closed, Mukesh stepped in and paid his brother's debt. He saved him from prison. It was a gesture of brotherly love, but it was also the ultimate display of dominance. The war was over. Mukesh had won. He was the undisputed king, and his brother was a subject, relying on his mercy. With his domestic rivals crushed, Mukesh Ambani turned his attention to the globe. He realized that data is the new oil, and since he already controlled the actual oil, controlling the data made him unstoppable. During the pandemic in 2020, while the world economy was crashing, Mukesh was holding virtual meetings in his Antilia mansion, raising billions. Mark Zuckerberg from Facebook invested nearly $6 billion. Google invested $4 billion. The biggest tech titans in Silicon Valley realized that if they wanted to do business in India, they had to pay a toll to Mukesh Ambani. He became the gatekeeper to the world's fastest-growing digital economy. He is not just a businessman, he is practically a parallel government. His decisions affect the inflation rate, the stock market, and the daily lives of 1.4 billion people. But this astronomical wealth brings us back to his lifestyle. The contrast between Ambani's life and the reality of his country is staggering. While millions live below the poverty line, Mukesh lives in a sci-fi fortress. His car collection is legendary, featuring over 170 vehicles, including bulletproof Mercedes and Rolls-Royces, all guarded by a private security force that looks like a small army. He even bought the famous British toy store chain Hamleys, simply because he could. His wife, Nita Ambani, is known for drinking water from custom gold-crafted bottles and wearing saris that cost hundreds of thousands of dollars. They own the Mumbai Indians, the most valuable cricket franchise in the world, turning sports into a family hobby. But the true display of his wealth was witnessed by the world recently during the pre-wedding celebrations of his youngest son, Anant Ambani. Mukesh didn't just throw a party, he hosted a global summit of the elite. He built a temporary glass palace. He hired Rihanna and Justin Bieber for private concerts. The guest list included Bill Gates, Mark Zuckerberg, Ivanka Trump, and the CEOs of Disney and BlackRock. He showed the world that European royalty and American tech billionaires will happily fly across the globe to attend an Indian wedding simply because the Ambani family commands that level of respect and financial gravity. It was a flex of absolute, unquestionable power. He was telling the West, the center of the world's wealth is shifting, and it is shifting to my house.
However, a monopoly this large breeds anxiety. Critics argue that Reliance Industries has too much influence over the government. They point out that media channels, retail stores, and digital networks are all consolidating under the Reliance umbrella. If you wake up in India, you might read news owned by Ambani, use data provided by Ambani, buy groceries from an Ambani store, and fuel your car with Ambani petrol. This level of vertical integration is illegal in many Western countries due to antitrust laws. But in India, Mukesh Ambani is seen by many as a national champion, building the country's infrastructure. He operates in a gray zone where corporate ambition meets national interest. As Mukesh approaches his late 60s, the question of succession looms over the empire. He remembers the bitter war he fought with his own brother, and he is determined to not let history repeat itself. He is carefully dividing his trillion-dollar empire among his 3 children, Isha, Apash, and Anant. Each is being handed the keys to a different kingdom: retail, digital, and new energy. He is trying to orchestrate a peaceful transition of power, a luxury his father never afforded him. He wants to ensure that the Ambani dynasty rules the 21st century, just as the Rockefellers and Vanderbilts ruled the 20th. Mukesh Ambani's life is a testament to the raw, unfiltered power of capitalism. He took a localized family business and turned it into a global leviathan. He showed that you can be soft-spoken and still be the most ruthless predator in the corporate jungle. He doesn't tweet like Elon Musk. He doesn't give fiery speeches like Donald Trump. He sits quietly in his $2 billion tower, moving pieces on a chessboard that the rest of us cannot even see. Some call him a visionary who modernized a nation. Others call him an oligarch who bought a country. But as you look at his towering mansion piercing the Mumbai skyline, one thing is absolutely clear. He is no longer just competing with other businessmen. He is competing with history. Let us know in the comments, do you think it is ethical for one man to hold this much wealth and power in a developing nation? Subscribe to Daily Optimization as we continue to uncover the untold secrets of the world's richest and most powerful elites.